Born and raised in St. Louis, my guest tonight is an unexpected twist in the way society operates. A stunningly beautiful 28-year-old, tall, empowered blonde who holds a master's degree in anthropology and museum studies from the prestigious St. Andrews University in Scotland. Recently, she has switched from her studies and career path to pursue other avenues, a particular avenue that has led her to the world's leading adult film studio, adult entertainment giant Vivid Video, and she is now its newest Vivid Girl. Having just recently shot her first full-length feature film with Vivid, we are joined tonight by AJ Bailey. Hey, AJ.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going all well. All right. So this is kind of a tricky one, and just kind of let me go through this and make sure I get everything right. You grew up in the Bible Belt, that's correct?
That's correct.
Kind of became bored with everything at a very young age, and you say screw it, and you drop out of high school back in, your junior year, I guess, and you went to live in Australia for 2 years, right?
That's right.
So, I mean, you just quit school, hopped on a plane, and went?
That's exactly what I did, and mostly because nobody thought I would do it, and like I said, you said I grew up in the Bible Belt, so it wasn't a lot going on. It's sort of a oppressive environment.
Right.
And I actually met somebody from Australia at when I was staying at a hotel, and I'm like, I want to go there. So I left.
That was it.
And,
got on a plane.
I just hung out. I hung out there. I would fly back, just to work for a little bit here and get some money and go back, and that was it for about 2 years.
So then you came back, I guess, around 19, you got your GED. You went to community college, transferred over to University of Missouri, and then you earned a bachelor's degree. Was it at Missouri that you did that?
Yes.
All right. So far, so good. I'm getting all my information's right so far.
Yep.
And then while studying, you went over to St. Andrews University. How did that process happen? I mean, to go from Missouri, how did you get into St. Andrews?
Well, I was actually, I started another program in California for my graduate degree, and I wasn't happy there, but I did an internship over in Scotland,
right?
And I just fell in love with it, and because that's what I like to do, I thought, there's no better place to study. So I got geared up to transfer, and then realized that I got a loan, and then the exchange rate changed like a lot, from like 1.6 to like 2.2.
Oh my goodness!
And I was missing about $8,000, and so I was in California, and I needed the money to go to grad school. So I started doing porn to pay for it.
Incredible.
And so that got me over there, and I went over there and I studied and I finished my degree, and it was amazing. I got in on my first try, and I was really excited about that.
I mean, this is one of the hardest universities to get into. This is where Prince William attended that school. What, a year before you?
Yeah, he graduated just before I started.
Oh my goodness. So following your graduate studies, I mean, long story short, you basically moved back to Los Angeles shortly thereafter, or did you stay in Europe? Did you travel?
I traveled while I was there a little bit, but I came back actually to the East Coast because I thought, my degree would do best sort of in the Ivy League community. And then the economy sort of fell apart, and that wasn't really happening. And I was incredibly bored. I was trying so hard to be super straight-laced, and it just wasn't for me quite yet, I don't think.
No? So how did it all begin, you in the adult industry?
Started with I actually frequented a girl website, and they had a Models Wanted ad sort of at the bottom. And I was like, why not? And it was great. And they flew me down there right away, and I shot for them. And within a month, I had, on my own without an agent, I'd gotten work with Penthouse and Hustler and all this stuff, and a couple other magazines, and it just went really well, and I really enjoyed it. And I only did girl features, video or internet work, or solo sort of magazine work is pretty much what I stuck to. Right.
So how did you end up signing up with Vivid? I mean, you say you're on the East Coast, you're doing what you were doing, you're getting bored. Now you move out to the West Coast, or were you signed to Vivid in New York, or?
No, I actually I decided that I wanted to go back into doing porn because it was fun, and I still had it as far as I was concerned, and there just wasn't much going on in my field. So I actually called up an old friend that I worked for, Michael Nin, who does pretty big features. Absolutely. And he cast me immediately in one of his all-girl films he was doing, and I just had so much fun doing it, and I said, I really want to keep going with this. And I decided that I also wanted to do boy-girl, but I wanted to get a contract. So I just put my mind to it, and right away it just sort of happened for me. It was all timing. I can't explain it, but it literally happened within about 2 weeks.
One almost wants to question it. I mean, having a master's in anthropology, I mean, you're studying, what are our physical traits, how do we behave, all the variations between humans and what have you. So it almost makes me think that you're almost conducting a social experiment with all this. Is that it, or are you just out having fun? Maybe someday you can write a book.
I probably should structure it as a social experiment because it probably do well. But Actually, you mentioned that there's an anthropologist who was studying like stripper culture at one time, and she ended up leaving being an anthropologist. She had a PhD, and she ended up leaving being an anthropologist to continue stripping because she loved it so much. She wrote a book about it, but I actually don't know her name. I should, but no, it seemed rational, and maybe I should look into that. But I think having that background gives me a really interesting sort of perspective on the industry. Right. That maybe most people don't come in with, especially with like evolution and human sexuality and things like that. But my focus was more towards like the art history side towards the end. So although my background's really strong in that, maybe I should capitalize on that. It's a good idea.
Well, there you go. You can put me in the footnotes or what have you. And I look at this, and it's almost like for my listeners here, I keep looking towards your story, and it's like, one second you're quitting high school and you're running off and living in Australia, and then you're coming back and you're dedicated to your education and you go the distance with that, and then you kind of fund yourself into the adult industry. And I mean, would you consider yourself to be like a role model at all, or is this you're just living the life the way you want to, and that's it? I mean,
I think like being a role model is really tough in my industry. I don't think it would be anything like to claim that because what I do still, definitely like to be like, I'm very pro education. So I mean, if anybody could take anything from my story, it's that education is really important, and there's you don't have to live in one specific box in life. There's plenty of avenues you can simultaneously explore. You don't have to be one certain way. But I mean, I don't consider myself a role model. I mean, come on, I do porn.
Makes sense, AJ. So all of our listeners, we can see you on www.vivid.com, and your brand new movie is called The AJ Bailey Experiment, and it's going to be released in a couple months. Is that right?
Yep.
And this is your first boy-girl movie.
It is. It is.
You want to talk about it? Why is it called The AJ Bailey Experiment?
It's actually a series that Vivid just started last year, I believe, maybe a little bit before that. But so it's sort of I think I'm the third girl to do it, and it's like our own movie where it's sort of an introduction, and it's very candid. Like in between every scene, we come in and we speak with the camera, and it's sort of like a confessional. Right. Actually, so it's not scripted. It's just really honest, and I had a lot of influence on who else was in the film, and so it's sort of just a really like raw and basic introduction to me, and but it was so fun. It was so great. I couldn't have asked for anything better. It's a really great introduction to working for Vivid.
I'm so happy for you, AJ. Well, I want to thank you very much for your time tonight, and I wish you all the luck, AJ, and take care of yourself. All right.
Thank you.